Curtis and Son Funeral Home, Sylacauga, Childersburg. Mr. William Coker Bailey, age 55 of Alexander City, died December 9th. Funeral service for Mr. Bailey will be Saturday at 2 p.m. from Curtis and Son North, visitation from 1 until 2. Reverend Michael Waldrop will officiate the service. Burial in the Evergreen Memorial Cemetery. Mr. Bailey died at the age of 55 at Russell Medical Center on Wednesday. Online condolences at CurtisandSonFH.com, Curtis and Son Funeral Home, North Chapel directing. Visitation for Carolyn L. Furra Buckner, age 82 of Alexander City. That visitation is today from 11 until noon at Curtis and Son North. There'll be a graveside service at 2:30 at Hillview Cemetery in Alexander City. I'll be officiating that service. And Curtis and Son Funeral Home, North Chapel directing. Celebration of Life and Memorial Service today for Anthony T. White. That will be at 1 p.m. at House of Redemption Church in Sylacauga. Community Funeral Home directing. Funeral service, graveside service for Mr. George Crow will be Saturday at 1 p.m. from Friendship Baptist Church Cemetery in Talladega Springs. Visitation today, 1 until 7 at the funeral home. The family hour from 2 until 4, Community Funeral Home directing. And funeral service for Beulah Carter will be Saturday at 1 o'clock from Community Funeral Home Chapel with interment in the Pleasant Hill Church Cemetery in Sylacauga. Visitation today, 1 until 7 at the funeral home, Community Funeral Home directing. Graveside service for Mr. Embry Thomas Henderson, age 93, is Saturday at 11 o'clock from Oldfield Cemetery. Visitation today, 4 until 7 at the funeral home, Armour's Memorial Funeral Home directing. Funeral service for Mr. Donald Lee is 11 o'clock this morning at First Baptist Church in Rockford with interment in the Rockford Cemetery. Wright's Funeral Home directing. Betty Christine Bates, age 67, died December 7th. The family will receive friends tonight from 5 to 8 o'clock at Talladega Funeral Home. And in lieu of flowers, the family asks that donation be made to the Cancer Society or to the Diabetic Research Foundation. Talladega Funeral Home will direct that service. Graveside service for William Mosley, age 77, is 2 o'clock today at Hall Grove Cemetery. Visitation was held yesterday, and Terry's Metropolitan Mortuary directing. Graveside service for Sharon Virginia Ward, age 73 of Goodwater, is Saturday at Mount Olive Baptist Church Cemetery at 1 o'clock. Brother Wayne Walker officiating. Ms. Ward died Wednesday, December 9th. Visitation Saturday from noon until 1 at the church in Goodwater. Contribution can be sent to the Mount Olive First Baptist Church in Goodwater, Alabama. Radley Smith Funeral Home, Sylacauga directing. Graveside service for Mr. Kyle David Braden, age 38, is Friday at 3:30 from New Hope Baptist Church Cemetery with Reverend Paul Brasher officiating. Mr. Braden died on Wednesday at his residence, Kilgore Funeral Home, Pell City, directing. Other obituaries this morning, remembering the life of Mr. Cornell Dontravius James, age 26 of Talladega. That service on Saturday at 2 o'clock from S.M. Goodson Funeral Home Chapel with Apostle Madaria Burks officiating. Interment in the Enon Baptist Church Cemetery of Childersburg. Public viewing limited to family and friends only for Mr. James today from 1 until 3 at the funeral home, S.M. Goodson Funeral Home directing. Remembering the life of Ms. Lillian Waller will be held Saturday at 11 o'clock from Union Springs Baptist Church Cemetery. Pastor L.L. Jacobs officiating. Public viewing today from 1 until 6 at the funeral home, S.M. Goodson Funeral Home directing. Mr. Leon Spidell, age 74, died December 10th, Community Funeral Home announcing. And funeral service for Deacon Roger Street, age 70 of Talladega, is Sunday at 2 p.m. from Oldfield Cemetery in Ashland. The Chief Apostle Hayes will officiate. Public viewing for Mr. Street on Saturday from 1 until 6 at S.M. Goodson Funeral Home in Talladega, S.M. Goodson Funeral Home directing. Graveside service for Robert Williams, age 78, is 2 o'clock Sunday at Lane Chapel Cemetery. Terry's Metropolitan Mortuary directing. And funeral arrangements for Mrs. Lenore No Thompson Williams, age 63, of Alexander City. The service will be private. No public viewing will be allowed. Service can be viewed on the Armour Memorial Funeral Home website starting at 1 o'clock Saturday. Armour's Memorial Funeral Home directing. That's a look at obituaries this morning, brought to you by Curtis & Son Funeral Home, Sylacauga, Childersburg.